Hey guys, Jacob with Jacob Comics. Happy New Comic Book Day, June 25th, 2025. I hope all you guys found all your books in your cubby, on the new comic book shop wall. However you guys get your mailed to you, however you guys get your books. I hope you guys found all the books that you were looking for this week. I know I did here under the loud mysterious black bag. Now before we get dived into what books I got this week, as always, give myself a shout out. I'm the advertisement. Click the links below. Come check out my Whatnot shows. They're fun. I've got CGC 9/8 mystery boxes that come with 5 exclusive comics, 2 virgins, and 3 trades. Now, without further ado, let's get dived into the loud, mysterious black bag. Woo! I've got 4 books this week, and as usual, I've read all the books, and we're gonna, spoiler-free talk about my thoughts on each book, and they're all listed in order from least favorite to favorite. So in my number 4 spot, I've got Miles Morales Spider-Man 34. Now, this one is, I don't know, I think I'm just not really So I like the character, this goofy little Spider King, whatever he is. Anansi is his name. He's been in the for this whole run. He's fun and stuff, and since he's been introduced into the run, I'm like, okay, this is interesting. He kind of reminds me of the little alien guy that would come around Superman and sort of harass him, right? He's not he's not fun to be around, really. but he is funny as to his dialogue and what he says and stuff like that. I don't know, man. It's just it's the whole gods angle for me, really. I'm not a big fan of the Thor characters and the whole pantheon of Greek mythology. That's kind of, for me personally, that's just weighing it down a little bit, because I'm like, oh, really? Do we have to put Miles through all this? And I'm just not as interested in seeing those characters. If it were different characters, I think I'd be more interested in what was going on. But yeah, so I don't know, it's an alright run. It's not a terrible book this week, just not, Thor characters are not my cup of tea. in my number 3 spot, on a super brighter note, we've got Deadpool Anniversary issue 350. It's Deadpool 15 on the current run. Now this one is chock full of stuff. Big old price tag of $7.99. But it's really thick. You get a bunch of stories in there, including an interesting Deadpool manga that you read from the back of the book. So that kind of made me feel like I personally got my money's worth out of the $7.99, just because it, you had that interesting back cover and some gags and jokes and stuff. I don't really think that the Deadpool manga is something I'd be buying, just because I read that little snippet they had, and it was just, I don't know. I'm not a big manga fan. It didn't read well as a story to me. It was just punchline after punchline after punchline, which, if that's what you're looking for out of Deadpool, I think the Deadpool manga might be something you want to check out. As far as the Cody Ziegler storyline, Ziegler, right? Yeah, as far as the Cody Ziegler storyline, the first half of the book was really good. I'm a little confused because I don't always read all the comic book news, and but it seemed as though this would be Cody Ziegler's last story here on this run, but they're going to continue the run with a new writer. I'm very confused, guys. I'm very confused how this one's actually catching enough traction that it's selling enough copies they're going to continue the run, but Cody's like, this is the end. And I was a little confused, so let me know if you guys know what's going on with that. If they're rebooting again already after 15, that's kind of sad, because it was a fun little cast of characters that they had brought together with Taskmaster, Deadpool's daughter, both of Deadpool's daughters, and I don't remember his name, but they had like this intern guy that was working for Deadpool and Daughters Incorporated, which was like a for hire mercenary company that they had started to try to generate money and cash flow. It's been a fun title. Like it's been kind of comedic, and I enjoyed like the banter between Deadpool and Taskmaster, and yeah, it's just been fun. So if that is the last one, I'm kind of sad, because they had like what seemed to me like a preview of the next writer's run, and it was very like back to basics, with Deadpool being an extreme jokester and not like an actual human being like in the Deadpool movies. And I don't know if that's what's going on. I might not even pick up that title, guys. Like, even just a little preview that they showed of it, or like I said, I don't know what's going on. I have to look it up after this. Anyways, that's my thought. The end of this Cody Ziegler run was really good. I thought I got my value out of the book because it had, it was like a flip side comic, and you could read from one side. You read a 40-page story from one way, and then you flip it over and you get another 15-page story on the back. I think that's how thick that one is. It's really thick. Anyways, on to the next. In my number 2 spot, even says it here on the bottom, guys. Final issue of Spider-Boy. Do I have thoughts? I definitely have thoughts. Oh my goodness, where do I even begin? Dan Slott's leaving to go write the new Superman book. What is it? Back to Basics Superman. I'm not sure. He's leaving to go write the next Superman book, which is probably going to be a really good run. I think it's Superman Unlimited. I believe that's what he's leaving for. And man, guys, we didn't support this title enough. I've been saying it. It's really good, and just it had this kind of like cartoon flair and a back to the early days, or my early days, the storytelling in the 90s, where it was kind of just throw all kinds of stuff out there and have fun with it, and don't really hold yourself back as a creative team. Just what's fun? What's fun? Can we put a smile on the reader's face? And man, I'm gonna miss this title. I'm really actually gonna miss this title. Maybe more so than any other that's it might be close with X Factor. Like in recent memory, the Spider-Boy cancellation and the X Factor cancellation. Man, I'm really enjoying the runs, and then they're just like, no more. It's not selling enough. It was a good ending. It seemed like Dan Slott had warning that this was coming to an end. The final story we get, I really enjoyed and appreciated. They kind of wrapped up a few loose ends so that further stories could be told in the future with Spider-Boy. But I haven't picked up Spider-Girl. It wasn't being written by Dan Slott, and so I was like, well, I don't know. And now I'm kind of wondering, is that where Spider-Boy is going to land? Is in the Spider-Girl book? And I feel like too, if you had to cancel Spider-Boy because it wasn't doing good enough, why is there now a title out that was a spin-off from this. It's a character that first appeared in the Spider-Boy comic. And do you think that's actually gonna last? You know what I mean? Like I don't want to read another story that I'm maybe just starting to get into the characters and 10 issues and it's done. So on to my number one title. Number one best book that I read this week was Uncanny X-Men 16. Gail Simone continues crushing it. I can't say enough about this book. It probably is, to me, one of the better titles that I've read as far as producing a good story, good new characters that I haven't known before. Also mixed in with characters I do know. If you were to look at the two top tier X titles, you've got X-Men being written by Jed MacKay and Uncanny X-Men being written by Gail Simone. And though I like both titles, the Uncanny X-Men title is being written way better. No offense to Jed MacKay, you know what I mean? They all write way better than I ever could. So don't I am nobody to but you know what I mean, there's levels of good, like I've said before. And this is just way up there, guys. It's such a fun title. We really kind of in this issue, I think, finally got a full understanding of a couple of the characters' new powers. God, I don't want to spoil things, but at this point I sort of feel like there's so many people not reading it and just knowing how a character's powers work isn't story spoiler territory enough. So I'm gonna throw it out there because I thought it was really kind of interesting. So we found out that Calico, the girl who rides like a horse, and that seems to be her power. And we were, there was sort of some confusion because the horse had all the powers, right? And she's very weak. And so, what is her mutant power? Well, they kind of reveal in this issue that her mutant power is resurrection of things. And that, she can bring something back to life, but then it would be one of her. Now, there's no specification whether she can bring humans, right? But she was able to bring an animal back to life with her mutant powers, and that animal is still like alive and has now manifested other powers, right? The ability of flight, fire powers, so on and so forth. If you've been reading the book, what Calico's powers are. So I thought that was kind of interesting. Like, is that a repeatable thing? Is it only the horse? Does she have to really love the person or thing in order to use the powers? Obviously, she's a young mutant, new character, and so they're still being trained how to use their powers. They don't quite understand their powers. I don't think this is something she can just repeatedly do where someone to die. I don't think she could just resurrect them, with a whole new power set. I don't think that's how it works, but it was kind of an interesting mutant power that finally got explained here in this issue. And yeah, man, I don't know. It's there was some other, they kind of revealed some other things about some of the other new characters that could hint at possibly something playing out later on. What Gail's been doing, setting up future storylines while at the same time paying off questions that you have, right? And that's one of the reasons that I say it's been a really good run. I can sit here and talk about just a power set of a new character and be like, isn't this cool? So that's what I have today, guys. As always, come check me out on Whatnot. Hang out with me. You don't have to buy anything. But yeah, trying to get back on more often. But the couple times that I've been on, like no one's really hopping in. So come talk to me. You don't have to, like I say, you don't have to buy anything. Just it gets boring sitting in there alone when no one hops in. Anyways, that's what I have today, guys. We'll see you next time, and have a great day.